really bad.
Danielle Grant is starving. 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 Starving.
Because we literally don't have anything to eat today or tomorrow.
Desperate for food. Desperate for food.
All right, I'm editing this into the beginning of the video. This is me raging for however many minutes this video is going on because I hate everything that is happening right now. Keep your chin up. Be in a positive mood. Things will get better somehow. I don't know how, but keep at it. Don't let yourself fall into a black hole. Anyway, now on to me raging for however many minutes this video is. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, everybody. Thanks for checking in, no matter where in the world you are today. Men and their rage against the machine. I've been on the internet since its inception, back when you had to use dial-up at, 56 kilobytes per second, and use your phone line to connect to do anything on the web. I've been around that long, unfortunately, and I'm seeing a trend unlike anything I've ever seen in my life, which is just about everybody, and which is mostly men, because that's who I follow and listen to online, because women. Every single one of them is raging. They're angry. They're frustrated. They're losing their minds. And it's not even to the point where I should say they shouldn't be losing their minds. I think they are well-deservedly losing their minds because not only are our financial systems broken, most of my viewers are Canada, United States, UK, Australia, and Germany. Those seems to be the countries in my metrics that view me the most. And when I try to pay attention to those countries, I notice something overwhelmingly powerful, is that men are just done with everything. You know, as a young man, maybe you say, well, I want to go out and date and I'd like to have a relationship. Well, you can't do that. So then a guy says, all right, well, I'm going to focus on work. I'll make money. I'll try to get ahead in life. Can't do that. There are layoffs and AI and immigrants and illegal immigrants taking jobs. If you're white, they're not hiring white guys. I have evidence to back up all of this. So in case you're woke and want to get angry at me, tough shit. And then on top of that, you say, okay, well, I'll just, stay home and play video games as I rent my apartment, and I'll just stay home or hang out with my friends. Can't afford to rent an apartment. All right, I'll stay at my parents' house and I'll play video games. Can't do that. AAA video games they now suck, and they're $80 a pop. All right, well, I guess I'll just, pull up some spicy content, yank one off, and go to bed. Can't do that. They're requiring photo ID for that content, at least quite a bit here in the United States. They're talking about it in the UK. Yeah, well, I'll use a VPN. Nope, they're talking about making a VPN illegal now in the United States, in the UK, in Australia. And a young guy's basically at the end of the day saying, what am I supposed to do with myself? You're literally taking away everything from me. And no matter where you turn, whether it's politics, whether it's the judicial system, whether it's education and the cost of college, whether it's just everything is breaking down. I don't have one individual story I'm going to talk about. I've been working on this story for about a week, and I've got literally a bazillion. I just had to stop after I had 30 tabs open of stuff I wanted to talk about, because I think it very adequately proves my point that men in general are losing their options to make money, to get invested in the system, to buy a home, to be successful, to be married, to have children. Everything seems to be being taken away from them, and they're furious. And they don't know where to outlet this frustration, because everything they might do, other than going to the gym and maybe working out, or even just going for a run and getting in shape, everything's being taken away from them. So now many of these I've talked about in the past, and even some of them recently, but I want you to hear these numbers, because it's literally breaking the backs of men. And I don't know where men go from here. I really don't. I don't know if they just decide to give up. I don't know what you do. Do you decide to fight back? If so, how do you fight back? Because, electing people to get in power isn't making any changes, because everybody keeps the floodgates open for H-1B visas, or visas where foreigners can work in your country. They're not stopping the inflow of illegal immigrants that come in and take jobs, take your benefits, take your tax dollars, take everything from you. And I'm not really being hyperbolic. I have a little message from Black Forest Supplements for you guys. Dump this into your coffee this morning, and you'll become 27% harder to kill. This stuff is Black Forest high flavanol cocoa powder. And here's what's insane. In a study with 21,000 people, it just showed that this stuff might reduce a heart attack by 27%. Cocoa flavanols keeps your arteries flexible. Regular chocolate, 90% of the flavanols get destroyed during processing. It's the difference between putting water in your gas tank versus high octane. Harvard ran this study called Cosmos Trial, the biggest study on cocoa ever. I'm going to show you a video with Dr. Eric Berg, one of the most watched health educators on YouTube. He's been talking about cocoa's benefits for years.
Benefits of cacao and dark chocolate. There's some seriously amazing benefits for the heart. Decreased blood pressure because you're getting increased nitric oxide, which actually helps the smooth muscle of the arteries. Now, the blood pressure effect can also happen due to the high levels of magnesium. It's also loaded with iron and potassium and copper and phosphorus and zinc. Number 2, it can increase your HDL, decrease your LDL, especially the oxidized LDL. Number 3, major studies showing the decrease in risk of heart disease. Okay, this is the big one right here. Decreasing endothelial dysfunction. This is where heart disease starts. It's the inside of the layer of the artery, specifically the coronary, that starts to become damaged, and then the cholesterol comes and the calcium comes and builds up plaquing and a clot. And so these antioxidants protect the inside layer of the artery.
So this is exactly why I switched to Black Forest high flavanol cocoa. It's not candy, it's performance fuel. Every scoop delivers the same active compounds. Harvard researchers linked to cardiovascular support, better blood flow, and even sharper focus. Think of this as your insurance policy, inside-out protection for your heart, brain, and stamina. I've been putting this in my coffee about 10 a.m. before I start my work every morning. It's literally the first thing I put in my body. I'm telling you, within 10 minutes, I'm wide awake and ready to go. If you're looking for that extra insurance policy to keep that blood flowing and your ticker pumping, you want to kick your coffee up a notch, and that's what you're looking for. And here's the bottom line. This is the final week to stock up. Once November 17th passes, the buy one, get one free deal will be gone for good. Black Forest told me they're basically breaking even on this promo just to get it in your hands before prices go up, because cocoa prices have been skyrocketing worldwide over the last few months. We can't depend on big pharma or processed junk foods for our health. This one's one of those rare times when science is clear, but access is limited. So if you've been thinking about trying it, act now before it's gone. Here's the link in the description down below and in the top pinned comment. Grab the deal while it lasts and take control of your health before someone else does it for you. This is from the AF Post. The median age of a home buyer in the United States now stands at 61 years old, with the first-time home buyers hitting a record low of 21%. And 61 years old, that's supposed to be your retirement age. And now, not only are they talking about 61 years being the average age of owning a home, and that's just for yourself, let alone a family, which you'll never have more than likely. And this is a Debbie Downer video. I'm sorry. I realize everything I'm going to be saying is negative, but I'm angry. I'm angry and I'm frustrated. And I don't want this to be a rage bait video, but what are we supposed to do? You know, I'm 50 years old, 53 to be exact. I've gone through a lot of this. I've survived. I'm doing okay. But what about the guys, if I were 40 years old or 30 years old or 20 years old or in my late teens, what would I be doing? There's no chance I would be able to succeed the way that they keep going at us. And I know many of you say, okay, nose to the grindstone. I get that. But I'm in contact. You know, my emails are open. The links are down below. My emails are open, and I'm getting contacted by, I get hundreds of emails every couple of days where guys are saying, dude, you don't understand. I did the degree. I can't get a job. I didn't do the degree. I'm struggling getting a job. How do I make money? You know, I've applied to hundreds, if not thousands of positions, or what feels like thousands. And the guys are saying nobody is even looking at us. And so now you've got housing, you know, going to 61 years old to be able to buy a house. You say, well, just rent. Rent is extremely expensive now. You know, Trump, I just put this in, I think I had a story about Trump. Yeah, right here it is. The Trump administration, housing director confirms administration working on a 50-year mortgage after Trump drops this hint. What is a 50-year mortgage going to do? What's the point? How does this help anybody? You lower the payment to a house by a couple $100s a month, but then you end up paying the bank $300,000 more in interest because interest rates are high right now. It's not tackling the real issue. And no one will tackle the real issue, because if a politician says, well, here's the fact, we're bankrupt and the markets are going to collapse and everything is broken, what'll happen? Everything breaks. So they have to come out here and keep giving the free giveaways to everybody, keep lying about everything just to try to keep things going. I asked Grok, just to sum this up, how much has the average home increased by percentage in the UK, Germany, United States, and Australia? I apologize to my Canadian friends. I forgot to toss in Canada, but Canada is ridiculous as well. Matter of fact, I'll copy this. We'll put it in. We'll look up Canada while we're here online. The average price in the 2018, this is just the past 7 years, and I went pre-COVID to now. Price change in the UK up 16% in the last 7 years. Not too bad. Germany, 16%, but they're already super expensive in the UK as it is already. The United States, plus 63% for housing. 63% in 7 years. How do you afford 10%, almost 10% more of your housing cost going up every year to try to buy a home? So even if you get that 5 or 6 or 7 or 8% raise, it's not enough. You're not even keeping up with the cost. Australia is almost as bad at 48.6%. Let me just type this in for Canadians because I believe in Canada it's just as bad here. We'll look at the average home increase price. So then you say, okay, well, we need to build more homes. But the problem is even the new homes are coming in at those expensive prices because nobody wants to make an entry-level home because it doesn't make them enough, padding on top of it. So they keep building these ultra luxurious, super huge homes instead of making a little 8 or 1,200 square foot home that a single person could actually afford. They keep building these McMansions. Canada, 38.3% increase in home pricing over the last 7 years. How do you keep up with that? You can't. You just can't. Now they're dropping out. This is from June 20 of 2022. Long-term loans, what to know about a 96-month car loan. And Trump just came out the other day dropping hints about a 15-year car loan. You're making things more affordable monthly just to break the bank a few years down the road. Car repos are at close to all-time highs right now, repossessions by the bank. But the banks are just refinancing these loans because they don't want the cars back because they can't sell them for anything because they're a repo and the car market sucks. And let's say you're in Germany. Let's say you're in the UK. Now, I know these numbers are for the United States, but I have to imagine it's the same worldwide or close to it. Let's just go back a few years ago. We'll go back to 2018. The average car price was about $35,000 7 years ago. Again, pre-bug. So you go from $35,000, which is for an average car, that's still pretty expensive, but you can find your 25s, you can buy your 45s. Just 7 years later, the new average vehicle transaction price, $50,000. That's your average, which means the $22,000, $24,000 car is now $32,000, and it means the $45,000 car is now $65,000 or $75,000. You want to buy a pickup truck to go work? You can't find them. And you can't even find the cheaper ones, really, because all the car manufacturers are loading them with options to try to make the most money out of a single unit. So finding those cheaper units sometimes includes making a special order. You have to specifically order a cheaper one because they're not even on the lots. Health insurance. This guy is some welder. He's a welder, obviously. He said, my health insurance went up another $500 a month for the Mrs. and me. That's two of them. The Mrs. and me, $40,000, $39,733 now for the year. F your SNAP, F your EBT, F your Obamacare subsidies. I wasn't put on this earth to pay your effing bills. Now, what's he raging about? Well, obviously, the cost. I haven't had insurance, by the way, since I left Cisco as a network engineer. So close to a decade. Because I went to look at the premiums, and this is what you see. $766. Now, it may be a little cheaper if you're younger, obviously. But $766 a month with a $10,000 deductible, which means I'm paying out of my pocket until I hit $10,600. But for that feature, I'm paying almost $800 a month. So $800 a month, what's that? $9,600 a year, plus $10,000 deductible. That's $19,000 that I'm paying out before I really get any help from healthcare. And for those that are in the UK, for those that are in Canada that say healthcare is free, yeah, go show up and you need an x-ray for cancer or something or other, and you get put on an 8-month waiting list because they're too backlogged. That's the thing. If I look at the most expensive, and I know I'm going down rabbit holes here, but I'm just trying to show you that literally everything you look at is breaking the backs of everybody. Blue Cross Blue Shield of Tennessee, I live in Tennessee, obviously, $1,300 a month, but only a $2,000 deductible. So you can either have low payment, high deductible, or high payment, low deductible. This is the quote-unquote best premium that I can get, or the best premium coverage. The other, this is the baseline entry level. So this is the worst you can get, supposedly. And this is the best you can get, $1,300 a month. Let's see, 12 is 144. What's that? 157, $15,700 a year out of my pocket for nothing. And then if I need help, it's $2,000 deductible. Now you're back to $17,000, $18,000 you're paying in a year if you need something. And I don't even know what the out-of-pocket maximum means because they say that's $8,200. So I can still pay stuff out of my pocket up to $8,200. How is this sustainable? You got insurance now that costs, well, you start doing the math on this. Let's say you take the cheap one, $800 a month for insurance. What's a car payment on the low one, $35,000 for 96 months? What's that, $400? And then you've got rent on top of it. You're talking about the outlay of $3,000-$4,000 after taxes on young people just trying to enter into the market. Germany raising the retirement age to 70. It's gradually increased from 67 to 70. UK talking about increasing retirement age. The United States talking about increasing retirement age. Ironically, you'll be able to basically, the median age of a home buyer at 61, it used to be you'd be buying that house 4 years before retirement. Well, now you're going to have to work till 70 till you get retirement. And this is where things start breaking down. This is where the anger comes from, right? So I give you the information on why people are freaking out. And here's the anger. I'm going to mute this. If you're just listening, this is a video of a Walmart shopper buying food for her family, and she's paying in EBT. And you have 1, 2, 3, 4 grocery carts stuffed full of food, stuffed absolutely to the brink with food. And this is from EBT or, SNAP, food giveouts. So while you've got young men that can barely survive, while you've got guys that can't get any government handouts because they're male, where in the meantime, a woman can just go out to a bar and sleep with a bunch of different men and get pregnant and spit out 3 or 4 kids, now she's on the list for this.
All type of shit. I got 9 kids. We gotta eat.
So our hardworking tax dollars, at least here in the U.S., are taxed, and young men can't afford anything. And then these women go out and there's so many videos of women that are like, oh, my EBT's for me and my 6 kids. And there's some overweight black woman from the ghetto, and she's got cart after cart after cart after cart of food. There's dog food on here. And none of it is healthy. I mean, if you look at the video I played in the intro to this, she's starving everybody. The 500-pound lady, where is it? Let's see. Where's my 500-pound lady? 500-pound lady. I'm starving everybody.
It's really bad.
Danielle Grant is starving.
It's really bad.
Danielle Grant is starving.
She's starving everybody. This high-calorie, dense human being is starving. Got news for you. You wouldn't be able to find a rib on her with an x-ray machine, let alone seeing her ribs because she's so thin, she's starving. And so you've got these guys that are like, why is my money going to these people? And when I mean these people, I mean overweight freeloaders. Young men are saying, where's mine? Where's my cut? Where's my money? Where's my help? Where's my bailout? You just keep squeezing and squeezing and squeezing from me and giving them to the most useless people in society that are literally doing nothing. Cart after cart. How do you think this makes a young man feel? Or even a middle-aged man, any man? I'm 50. It pisses me off. Why is it that these people get all this and nobody else gets any help? The people that are working. This is why socialism fails, because the people that make give to people like this. Then you've got this, a group of ladies. Let me mute. Well, I don't think I have to mute this one. Let me see. He's following.
I love it when
He's following women that are leaving the store. Now, did they use EBT? No. Did they use stamps? The SNAP program, food stamps? I love how they changed food stamps to SNAP because food stamps was embarrassing. SNAP is as well. Oh, snap. I'm an empowered black lady that's fat that takes all your money for my own food and 17 kids. What happens when they don't have SNAP and they don't have EBT? Well, they just leave the store with the grocery cart full of food.
When people steal in Ocala, that's my favorite thing in the world.
And they get scared and run off.
Why abandon it? Just take it. If you're going to go that far, just take it.
Now, here's the irony, guys. Here's the irony, okay? They leave a full cart of food. What do they have? They have some books on there. Now, you know they're not going to read it because they're overweight black ladies that like to pop out kids for money. So they're not the highly educated that read a lot of books. What do they do with these books? They sell them online. They go to eBay and sell the books for extra money. What do you got? Fanta, Kool-Aid, juice, soda, high calorie. Got some chips right here. And then when you go in and you say, grocery prices are so expensive, I can't afford groceries anymore. Why are the prices going crazy? I thought inflation was going down. Well, here's why. You've got to subsidize the stolen food from these people. Here's another thing. A guy leaving the store with a cart full of food. And what happens? Grandma has to stop him.
You gonna pay for it?
And this old lady leaving the store, watch this, based old lady, by the way. She starts yanking the mask off the robber's face. She blocks the door with her own cart so he can't get out with his cart.
Come on, bud.
And then this guy grabs the cart, won't let him leave with it.
Come on.
Get out.
Come on.
Get out.
Take your and go. Off.
Probably riding a stolen bicycle. Now, this is a white guy. Don't you be like that. This is a white guy doing it. Where are the cops? Where are the police? Where are the people stopping all this? So when your grocery prices are going up, it's because of all the freeloaders, both the thieves and the ones on your government dime. How, as a young man, are you not fuming about this? Well, I got news for you. They are. Now, I don't have all the clips because there are hundreds of thousands, mostly men. The vast majority of them are men that are raging about this, saying, why isn't anyone stopping this? Why aren't you stopping people from getting our free money, my tax dollars? Why aren't you stopping thieves? Why is the judicial system letting people just break down our society? Why are you letting things break? And as a young person, or even as a middle-aged, I know I keep saying young because, you know, most of us guys that are at least middle-aged, we've built a resume, we've got some experience, we got a couple of nickels to rub together. But what about the guys that are, you know, below the age of 40 or 30? How is a young man today, do you not see this and say, F your system? F all of you. It doesn't matter who you vote for. It doesn't matter local council, city, mayor, governor, president, senator. No one is stopping any of this. It's like they're purposefully just letting everything break down until there's going to be an overthrow. Here in the United States, this is another thing that just is driving people crazy that conservatives are fighting about. Fiscal year 2024, top recipients of our tax dollars, 167 billion. Ukraine these are the top 10. Ukraine, Israel, Jordan, Egypt, Ethiopia, the Congo, West Bank, Sudan, Nigeria, Yemen. Why are you giving money to these countries when you've got people here that are struggling? And I'm not talking about the fat ladies on EBT and the government dime. Why are you giving away our money when you've got a massive amount of young men, young people, but mostly men because the women have bailouts. The men that have no bailouts, why aren't you helping them? And that's why everybody's getting so mad. I put this in here just as a reminder. This is immigration in the UK 2025 stats and facts. I just put this in here as a little placard to remind me of this. You know, right now, it was discovered that during Biden administration, they had 1.7 million jobs that were taken by illegal immigrants that were given work visas and they were allowed to work. And since we're deporting everybody, you've got illegal immigration or I should say the illegal working group that were given these free passes and these work permits. That dropped by, wait for it, about 1.7 million people. And guess what? Employment went up by Native Americans by 1.7 million people. So you've literally got these illegal immigrants taking jobs from American workers. I know that's happening in the UK. I know that's happening in Germany. I know it's happening in Canada and in Australia. It's happening all over the place. So the natives to the country, native German and Native American, well, you know what I mean. Not Native American, but you know what I mean. They're screaming, stop giving our opportunity away. I want to survive. I want to make it. I want to make it through this, and you're not helping me any other way. At least let me work, for God's sake. And that's not happening. And then when you bring it up and you're like, hey, I need a job, they call you a racist. How do you survive that? How do you make it through that? Migrants get up to 2 free years for free rent for new apartments. You're a young American. You're a young Canadian. You're a young Englishman. And you're struggling. And I could really use a hand here, government. You keep wanting my tax dollars. I could use a hand. No, mate. We can't help you. We've got to give it to the free people that are freeloading coming in the country. Now, whether you agree with me or not, and you think immigration is great, do you not understand why men in these countries are saying, why are you screwing me? Why are you destroying my life? This is my country. These people are coming over for economic reasons. They're not coming from countries that are at war. They're coming over to steal my job and then ironically send the money back home. Immigrants on food stamps or SNAP here in the United States, the percentage of immigrants that are on them, 45% Afghanistan, 42% Somali, 34% Iraq, 23% Haitians, 59% of all illegals are collecting SNAP. So not only are they all coming over to take our jobs, but even if they're not taking our jobs, they're just here. And my tax dollars, instead of going to help other people that really need help, are going out to put food in people's mouths that shouldn't even be here.
There are 42 million people in this country that need food stamps on a weekly basis. And we're saying people deliberately instead of Americans, because most of the people that are on food stamps aren't even from this country. 45% of Afghanistan. He
just reads through the stats like I just read. What are we doing? What are we doing? Do you not understand why men, and I know I could fairly say young people, but the truth is, women are still getting hired at better rates than men. Women are still getting into college at better rates than men. There is a bias against hiring both men and more specifically, white men when you have a woman or a woman of color or, I don't know, LGHD TV available on the ballot. On the interview ballot, right? Able to be interviewed. I got proof of that, so it's not just me saying it. So the women get the bailouts, the women get the help, the women can go out and just get pregnant, pop out 3 kids, and all of a sudden they're in the system. What about the men? And then on top of that, you're saying, well, instead of giving it to men here in our country, we'll just give it to the foreign invaders coming over the borders. Do you not understand why men they're just done? I'm done, and I'm not even in the work world out there anymore. New York City welfare food is shipped in barrels to the Dominican Republic, then sold on the black market. So my tax dollars are being used by immigrants getting free food, and they get dry goods. They say right here, Kellogg's Corn Flakes, instant formula, which is powder, Kellogg's Frosted Flakes, the things that are American foods, not like rice and beans. They're getting the expensive American foods. A box of Corn Flakes is $6 for 24 ounces. What's 24 ounces in metric? Not much. That's what it is in metric. So I can't go out and afford, these carts full of food. I can't afford that. So why are these people that don't even work able to afford it? And then on top of that, they're shipping it to other countries? Do you not understand why men are raging right now? Young men and middle-aged men even. Shit, all men. Everybody that's here that didn't come from here is getting most of the stuff. As a young guy, how do you not look at this and say, that's it? I'm not voting Republican. I'm not voting voting doesn't matter. I'm drowning over here. And you're throwing me life preservers made out of concrete. From NPR, more states extend health coverage to immigrants, even as issue inflames GOP. So you're going to tell me that where's my graphic here? So you're going to tell me I have to pay $800 a month with a deductible of $10,000 as a 53-year-old man that has paid taxes since I was 15 years old. I've never not worked. I've had 2 jobs before. I've worked since I was 15 years old when I was in high school. But you're going to tell me now that people just showing up get health coverage? Where's mine? Where's all the other young men out there trying to get some help? Where's our part of the pie? I'm baking the pie. You guys are baking the pie. We're making the pie. And then they're coming in and eating it. We don't even get to enjoy the fruits of our own labors. And instead of stopping these people from getting the handouts, you're going to lower or you're going to raise the rate of retirement. So I have to work even longer for these people. Now, I know I sound like I'm angry. I am extremely angry today. But my voice is just one of millions of guys that are screaming on social media, whether it's on 9gag, whether it's on X or Facebook. And you can't do much on Instagram because they'll block you over there for screaming this stuff. What happens when it all breaks? What do you expect people to do? And then the crime. What happens when the cops are doing their job and arresting people? And then you see crime overwhelm the system. People stealing things that you and I have to pay for, whether when we buy our goods or through the government. What happens when innocent people are hurt? Time after time, whether it's here in the US or the UK, both of those are the ones that I see most of the time in the news. What happens when the judicial system no longer protects the innocent? A 23-year-old guy ended the life of a young woman. And they say, oh, well, he was born in the UK. Yeah, he was born in the UK. How many of his values came from good British morality? I don't think so. And here, we've got cartels restocking dealers in Pioneer Park in Utah. Now, if a citizen can sit here and film this, and they know about it, and this is just a concerned citizen, where are the cops? Where are the police? Where is the young man struggling, trying to do the right thing to pay for himself and pay rent? Where's the benefit to him when criminals can just come out here and in the open market sell their wares, make tons of money doing illegal things, but the good guy is the one getting punished? And these guys are just out here doing nothing but restocking their dealers as they go out. And then, see, when they get hungry, here's the great part. When they get hungry, they probably have an apartment in Section 8 housing, which is paid for by the government. And then when they get hungry, they go and steal food. So ironically, they don't have to pay for anything other than, I guess, buying their Mac 10s or their mini Uzis or something else. Blue City man with nearly 100 arrests accused of ending the life of an elderly victim. He's never served prison time. 100 arrests. Ends the life of a woman. 100 arrests. 100. But if you're in the UK and you write a tweet, an X post they don't like, you'll get arrested. If you're in the United States and you say something bad about, I won't go down the rabbit hole. Anyway, there's people that have been arrested in the United States for saying things and posting memes as well during the 2016 presidential election. This guy's been arrested 100 times. 69-year-old ends the life of a elderly woman. Why should we play by the rules? Now, I'm going to always play by the rules, and I think all of us should. But how does not all of this running through your mind as a young man make you say, why should I play by the rules? Why should I be a good man? Why should I play by the rules? The criminals amongst us have a better life than I do because this guy got arrested 100 times. He gets free things. He gets to rob. He gets to steal. He gets to beat people up. And the worst he's going to get is 3 hots and a cot if he was actually held in prison. But because we don't have that society anymore, we're just going to let him wander around and do whatever he wants. Where's the motivation for young people to do well? I saw this one, and it's kind of the same vein, right? You've got a high caloric, physically dense woman who literally is shaped like a pear, and not in a good way. She's got a gunt. which is a gut over her area, a gunt. And she said, what I ate today is a baddie. Now now I'm just going to play this now for you just listening. I'm going to talk over it. For you just listening, this is 1 minute of her stuffing her face with 10,000 calories. Honest question. You as a young man today.
What I ate today, baddie.
Okay, I'm going to mute this. Now, you're a young man. Maybe you're educated, maybe you're just starting off in life, and you're breaking your back trying to be able to put anything other than ramen noodles and peanut butter sandwiches into your face. And you got to sit here and watch this human being eat calorie after calorie after calorie, stuffing her face to the point of, I would have thrown up an hour ago after what she's eating. As a young man, are you not like, what are we doing? Why am I busting my tail and working so hard so these other humans can be doing so well? I know at the end of this video, I'm going to have to insert a positive message that I can re-edit into the beginning of this message, which is saying, keep your chin up. You'll do well. Okay, let me do it right now. All right, I'm editing this into the beginning of the video. This is me raging for however many minutes this video is going on because I hate everything that is happening right now. Keep your chin up. Be in a positive mood. Things will get better somehow. I don't know how, but keep at it. Don't let yourself fall into a black hole. Anyway, now on to me raging for however many minutes this video is. I will insert that in the beginning of the video because you just watch these people destroying everything that men have created, and then they're going to rage at men. U.S. job cuts hit 1.1 million so far in 2025, reaching recession-like levels throughout October. 1 million people have been laid off this year. A lot of it in the tech sector, a lot of it's in DEI, but now you've got Amazon talking about in the next couple of years firing another 600,000 blue-collar workers. You've got AI that hasn't even started taking over everything, but soon you're going to be checking into a hotel with an AI, on a monitor. That's how you're going to check into a hotel. They've already got you ordering that way at fast food places. Next thing you know, every customer service is going to be AI. We haven't even started the job layoffs because of AI yet, and we got 1 million laid off just this year alone. But you can't get a bailout, fellas. You can't get any help from your governments. I asked Grok this because I could have done the homework. It would have taken me probably a couple hours, but it's much faster to just ask AI to give me the answer. I just said, hey, several companies have talked about diversity and inclusion, as well as specifically not interviewing or hiring white men. AI, Grok says, yep, discussions and reports about companies prioritizing diversity and equity and inclusion initiatives in ways that explicitly or implicitly disadvantage white male candidates have surfaced in recent news, often tied to surveys, lawsuits, internal policies. And yes, it gives out tons of stories of lawsuits and all the other things. Now, I know many of you that may not be a white person like I am. I know you watch my channel, and I'm not trying to say that we have it worse than you do, because minorities do face their own challenges. And now you've got AI that scrapes resumes, so you don't even get to talk to somebody, just AI scrapes it. Does it matter if you have a masculine name versus a feminine? Probably. Do they scrape it for you having activity in your free private time for belonging in a club or some membership that includes LGHD TV or something else? Yes. So if you're just Mike Smith and you don't have anything that shows diversity in your resume, human might not be making that decision. The AI might be, because it was trained by woke people. And yes, there are stories out there about that. I didn't pull it up. BBC staffer admits workers pressured to apologize for being white and middle class as bias crisis deepens. This is from November 11th, 2025, everybody. Today. And it's in the UK. H-1B visas. Staffing firms cheated more, paid workers less. They're admitting they didn't use H-1B visas, which is immigrants coming here to work for corporations that supposedly can't hire because there's not enough qualified American citizens to do the job, so they have to go overseas. Surprise, lower salaries, more candidates with multiple lottery entries. outsourcing companies using lower salaries, fewer candidates with multiple lottery entries. This is just a dot graph, basically, showing you there's a ton of dots that are under 100 grand. I get hate for saying this, but this is the truth of it. Sorry, there's data out there. What happens when somebody comes in, and more specifically from India, and they get put into a position of CEO or upper management or something else? They have an in-groove preference for, wait for it, more Indians. And so slowly departments are replaced by people supporting their own country, India. What a shock. If I went to the United States, and I worked in the United States, and I went to India, and they said, we need to hire people, and I could choose from Americans or Indians, I'd probably choose Americans. Why not? They speak the language. They have the same culture. We have the same belief system. I mean, it's not a surprise. But these are the things that young people keep looking at, and they just say time after time, you're doing everything against me. You're doing everything you can to break my will, to break my ability to survive and do well. What do you expect me to do? This is a video clip, and I didn't cut it, so it's kind of hard to see. I didn't want to run it through a bunch of video processors just to pull it out. This is a World War II veteran, remembers his comrades. This was just the other day on Remembrance Day in the UK. And I do have clips of an American soldier saying the same thing. Matter of fact, let me grab that before I forget. Here's an American kind of doing the same thing. Let me play the British gentleman that fought in World War II first, and listen to what he says. He just says it. What's the point? This isn't what we fought for.
What does Remembrance Sunday?
I'm going to play this at 1.25 speed, because if I don't, then I'll get whacked by whatever news station, GBN News or whatever this is, for copyright. So I'm going to play it a little bit faster. It's about 1.25 speed. Nothing too crazy.
What does Remembrance Sunday mean for you? What is your message?
My message is, I can see in my mind's eye those rows and rows of white stones of all the hundreds of my friends and everybody else that gave their lives for what? The country of today. No, I'm sorry. The sacrifice wasn't worth the result that it is now.
Oh, well, I'm sorry.
What do you mean by that, though? At this point?
What we fought for, and what we fought for was our freedom. We find that even now it's darn sight worse than what it was when I fought for it.
Oh, Alec, I'm sorry you feel like that, because I want you to know that all the generations that have come since, including me and my children, are so grateful for your bravery and all that for service personnel. And
so obviously he says, look, freedom's worse now in the UK, of course. They're having many, many struggles with social media and being able to express your mind and getting arrested for saying, I love bacon, all the other things to protect the migrants, right? And so he says, this isn't what we fought for, but I want you to listen to what this lady says. This is the important part at the end of this.
For it.
Oh, Alec, I'm sorry you feel like that, because I want you to know that all the generations that have come since, including me and my children, are so grateful for your bravery. And
so all the generations and everybody past, so grateful for what you've done. Guess which picture went viral on leftist X the other day? This one. They changed the color of his beret wearing the poppy. I think that's the poppy. White beret. They changed it to pink, changed his hair color to green, painted him up with butterflies and rainbow flags to make a joke out of him. They don't appreciate it. They don't appreciate you. They don't appreciate your tax dollars. They don't appreciate your sacrifices. They don't appreciate anything you do for the system. What is supposed to be our takeaway? Let me play this. This is an American, or I think this is an American. Yes, World War II veteran Carl Deckley weeps as he discusses modern life in USA. I'm going to put this at 1.25 speed as well, just for copyright reasons. But these older gentlemen do speak a little slower, so it should be perfectly understandable.
I am so upset that the things we did and the things we fought for and the boys that died for it, it's all gone down the drain. Our country gone to hell in a handbasket. We haven't got the country we had when I was raised. Not at all. Nobody will have the fun I had. Nobody will have the opportunity I had. This is just not the same. And that's not what I want. That's not what they died for. That's not it. No. I'll be all right. Just takes me time to get over it. Why me sitting here like this? See all this going on?
It's enough to break your heart. It's enough to break your heart. You know, people my age and older, well, and younger too, but I mean, you know, people around my age, a lot of people say, yeah, you've done okay for yourself. You've made it through the hard part. And that is true. But unless you've invested well for yourself, a lot of people that are older that retired today, they need Social Security. They need some assistance, and they paid into the system. That's the sad part. That if you do the math on how much they take out of your paycheck over the decades that you work and how much you actually get back from our government, it's substantially less. We're talking hundreds of thousands of dollars less. So even though you're forced to pay into the system, you're not going to get it back out. And now, by the time I get to retirement age, it's probably not going to be 65 or 70. It might be 75. Maybe just retirement's done with and they just do away with Social Security. And if you're a younger person, you're definitely paying into a system that you're never going to get any use out of. You may never be able to retire. And matter of fact, you're having a hard time paying into the system because a lot of these young guys can't get any work to begin with. You've got the layoffs, you've got them working against you. And even though you may want to, how do you get ahead? How do you even get into the system today? And then you see all your money being given away to freeloaders. And if you want to say anything about it and say anything about those freeloaders, they call you names. They say you're a piece of crap. You know, I do feel for the younger generation. And because as a young, you know, when I grew up, at least I had the hope. It might have been false hope, but I don't think it was false hope. You know, I did end up getting married. I did date. I did have some success in that market that young people don't even have today. Now, of course, smart men shouldn't get married, obviously, but I didn't grow up in that era. I grew up in an era where you believed that you'd get married and have kids and have the white picket fence. And while that got dashed on the rocks, at least you had the opportunity to try. At least you had the opportunity to make a go at it. The rage I see today is from everything that I've shown you. Just everybody is livid at the free giveaways and the money going to everybody that doesn't deserve it, whether that be countries, whether that be individuals, whether that be illegal immigrants. It's just being given away. And then when the people that are making it say, where's my help? Why aren't you listening to me and my concerns? They're told that they're bad, that they're part of the problem, that they're the patriarchy, that they're everything that's wrong with the world, that nobody needs them, nobody wants them. I can't even imagine the mentality of young people today and what they must be going through. I feel it a little bit, but I can't tell you how angry I am. I'm angry that I feel like no matter which way you vote, no matter where you move to, if it's, you know, westernized country, no matter where you go, it's just primed to make you lose. And I get young people's negative attitudes on this stuff. And, you know, part of me does say, I still think there's a way that you can make it work. Yeah, the median price on a home in the United States is something like $480,000. And as a young man, you say, I'll never make that. As a man my age, I'll never make that. You know, I've even gone so far as to say, hey, buy an acre or two of land and buy a little trailer, and at least you can pay that off in a few years. But, you know, I've said I'm planning to put together a men's retreat, and that is still my plan. I will do it. But even I am looking around for land that is something I can access. You know, there's lots of land around the United States I could just buy. But I live here, so I have to have it close enough I can access it, or at least someplace I can go and visit for a few months out of the year where you guys can come out and we can all have a nice little area, a campground or something to hang out. And I look at the land that's just down the street from me, literally within 1.5 miles from me, that's about the same acreage that I purchased. It is almost 5 times more expensive. It is, well, let me correct that. It's about 3.8 times more expensive than I paid for this land just 5 years ago. If I went to buy land where I bought this land 5 years ago, if I had the money I had 5 years ago, but I went to buy land today, I wouldn't be able to buy it. The fact that I was able to buy this 5 years ago is a miracle, because if I went looking for the same piece of land today, I wouldn't be able to buy it. That's what I'm running into. And then when I say the prices keep going up and everything's going crazy, and we need to turn down the temperature on inflation. Well, money printer goes burr. That's not going to happen. All right, well, maybe we can invest in the stock market. Well, it's at an all-time high for the last 17 years. There's really no good entry point. You can jump in now, but there might be a correction around the corner. But we don't know when that is because they keep dumping money into the markets. They've got this circular AI investment thing where an AI company invests into a company that's making like NVIDIA making the chips, and then that chip company invests in the AI. It's just circular money all over the place. There's just, people stealing food and then making us pay more. Like all of it just is backbreaking. It's soul crushing. I understand young people's anger because now I'm angry. And I've got a leg up on all of you guys because I was able to work and save, and I'm on the downhill of my life. I'm on the backside of the ski slope on my life. I already rode the chairlift to the top, and now I'm going down the backside of the ski resort. You guys, there's no more chairlift anymore. You're gonna have to hike up to the top of the hill, only to find that when you get to the top of the hill, there was an avalanche and it slid you back down to the bottom, and now you got to hike to the top again. That's what young people are feeling. All of this is all over X and social media. It's just the rage against the machine is at an all-time high. I've never seen anything like it. I now am seeing people absolutely shredding their own political parties apart, shredding their own governments apart, shredding police departments and police and judges, the entire system. Everybody is just infuriated. Everyone is just furious that the system's coming down and they just don't see a way out. And I don't blame them. I really don't. What comes next? I don't know. But I see these trends. I see it coming. And one way or another, the only answer can be, guys, keep pushing, keep digging, keep searching for a way out. You have to. You can't just lay down and give up. I know that feels like the world is against you. I really do, because I feel it, and I'm not even as bad off as a lot of you guys. I consider myself very blessed. But you just can't give up. And the worst part is, I don't know how you don't give up. But you got to keep pushing. You got to keep trying. You got to keep fighting. Somebody's got to be winning out of all this. So find a way to make it you. I guess that's the best thing I can say. I mean, at this point, throw on a dress. If you're a guy, throw on a dress. Call yourself Tiffany. Start applying for jobs. At least you'll get in that way. Who cares? If the system's going to be ridiculous and it's a bunch of clowns that are running the circus, put on the makeup and play along. At least you'll be able to get ahead. Guys, if you like my work, make sure to join me over on betterbachelor.locals.com. It is $5 a month. It puts us behind a paywall. It means we keep out the bots and the idiots, and it means that we can also live stream things that are not able to be live streamed on the web, like Classic Underrated Television, where we watch on Wednesday nights. We watch a bunch of old classic TV shows, and we cut up about the world, and we enjoy each other's company. And we also do football on Sundays. We do UFC on Saturday nights. And we do movie nights as well, where we watch a bunch of classic, great movies. And we just all hang out with a bunch of like-minded guys. So if that sounds interesting to you and you don't have a bunch of friends, or you'd like somebody to hang out with and that is like-minded and on the same page as you in the world, come on over to betterbachelor.locals.com. Hang out with us. You'll enjoy it. I think you'll be glad you did. We've got a great community that is thousands of guys over there. And you watch all my content ad-free. So you're going to pay $5, but there's no ads on my content. You get to leave comments. You get to have a discussion about things. You get to join in the live chats. There's a ton to offer over there. So come on over, check it out today. I think you'll be glad you did, and we will see you in the next one.